Hello, good morning. We're reading The Mystery of History, Volume 4. We're on page 30. In the period of the Enlightenment, when people were using reason, man's reason alone to understand man, and neglecting God's word. Okay, so we're in 1752 with Benjamin Franklin. It says, Miss Hobart starts out, take a jack of all trades kind of man. Add to him a good dose of wit, a dash of curiosity, a strong work ethic, and a brilliant mind. Whom do you get? Can you guess? Benjamin Franklin.
I just guessed that because that was the lesson, so I sort of cheated.
One of the most colorful characters of it says the 18th century, but I always change it to 1700s because that confuses me when we say 18th century, I think 1800s, but it really means 1700s. From a candle maker to an ambassador to a founding father of the United States, Benjamin Franklin gave a tremendous amount of himself to the 13 colonies. He was born in Boston, Massachusetts in 1706. He was the 15th of 17 children in his family. Woo! We would love to have that many children.
I would want to have him between 2 and 10.
He had so many brothers and sisters that his father could not afford a formal education for all of them. Well, we have homeschool. But young Benjamin showed a great interest in learning, so his father sent him to school at age 10. Benjamin proved to be very good at reading and writing, but he did not do well in math. After 2 years of formal schooling, he quit, but Benjamin never gave up on learning. I find that to be kind of like it speaks to a lot of the experience and when you send children to school. It's like they're really excited to learn, but then they go to school and it takes all the excitement of learning out of it. Back in his father's candle shop, he read into the late hours and taught himself a myriad. See, he's teaching himself. Often he used his lunch money to buy books. He read Pilgrim's Progress, Robin Crusoe, the works of Plutarch, I don't even know who that is, and just about anything else he could get his hand on. Restless, yes, just like you. Restless for more than just candle making, Benjamin went to live with his older brother, who ran a printing press. Surely the printing business would give Benjamin even more access to the books he loved. It did, but Benjamin and his brother didn't get along very well. Benjamin wanted to write for the newspaper, but his brother wouldn't allow it. So Benjamin wrote in secret. Here's a picture right here. It says, in secret, Benjamin Franklin wrote letters signed Mrs. Silence Dogood. That's fine. That's a little bit of a funny, that's like his pen name. For his brother's newspaper. These letters were just the beginning of his witty and practical writing career. So he wrote letters for the newspaper under a mysterious, he was like, I found these letters, brother. They're signed Mrs. Silence Dogood.
Such a strange name.
Maybe we should publish them.
By the way, I actually read a book called Who was Benjamin Franklin?
I know.
I don't remember all of that.
Okay, so Benjamin's brother was amused by these do-good letters and printed them in his paper until he found out that he had been duped by his little brother. At age 16, Benjamin ran away from his apprenticeship. He first went to New York, then Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in 1723. One of the best things ever to happen to Philadelphia was that Benjamin Franklin made it his new home. He first walked into town with only the dirty clothes on his back and 3 loaves of bread, one under each arm and one held in his teeth. That's funny. You see this guy walking into town with bread.
Dirty clothes.
A young woman named Deborah Reed watched Benjamin enter town this way. She may have giggled at the sight of this disheveled newcomer, but her father took Benjamin in as a boarder. Boarder means you can come, they feed you and they give you a place to stay. And 7 years later, Deborah became Benjamin Franklin's common-law wife. To make his way in Philadelphia, Benjamin went into the printing business. One of his customers was the bold evangelist George Whitefield. Do you remember talking about him? He's the preacher. Do you remember him? No? Okay.
Wait. Oh, yes, I do remember him. Who's he?
He was a preacher.
What was the name again?
George Whitefield. We'll have to go back over these. Franklin bought his own print shop and started writing the Pennsylvania Gazette. He kept this paper business for 37 years, but he became more famous for writing Poor Richard's Almanac. It was a clever calendar and handbook for farmers and families, and it included the witty sayings of Benjamin Franklin. For years to come, these almanacs were found in nearly every home. Wow. So they were successful, of the 13 colonies. Franklin wrote quips on the pages to inspire kindness, hard work, and thriftiness. You've probably heard a few of these tips, such as a penny saved is a penny earned. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
I've heard the first one, not the second one.
Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. The colonists adored Benjamin Franklin for his sensible advice. Benjamin Franklin put into practice his extraordinary gift of common sense. For the city of Philadelphia, he started a volunteer fire department, a loaner library. I guess they also had libraries where you couldn't take the books out, but loaner means they'll let you borrow it. A hospital for the poor, and I think special needs. She used a different word here, but I'm going to say special needs. A philosophical society. Oh, I think she with people who needed mental help with their minds. A philosophical society in a school. He improved the police force, paved and lit the dirty streets, and created a more efficient postal service. He was just all over it. His mail system was so successful that he was given the job of Deputy Postmaster General for all of the colonies. He expanded his services to speed up the delivery of letters that were sent back and forth to Canada and to Europe.
I never knew this.
Me neither.
I think I knew that he was good at the post office and that he did a couple things, but I've forgotten most of this stuff. I don't think I even
His
knew that.
system of letter delivery was essential during the American Revolution. All right, we're going to read this last little paragraph and then stop. I know but not because it's been too long, but because we've covered a bunch of information in a short amount of time, and I don't want to go over him too quickly. Besides all of this, Benjamin Franklin busied himself with science and inventions. He was fascinated with electricity. And so the famous story goes that one day in 752, he and his son William flew a kite in a thunderstorm with a key attached. Sounds so foolish.
And he got electric.
Why did he do this? Franklin wished to prove that lightning was made of electricity. The wet hemp string attracted the lightning, which traveled down to the metal key and gave off electrical sparks. As a result of his dangerous experiment, Franklin invented the lightning rod, which is a metal pole that can direct a bolt of lightning from the rooftop to the ground. It wasn't long before every house in Philadelphia had a lightning rod. Franklin's other inventions would include an iron stove, whose design is still considered state-of-the-art today, bifocals, swim fins, a glass harmonica, and a device for retrieving books from high shelves. That's funny.
That is funny.
He also studied, he's got like all these huge inventions, and he's like, and I also need, there we go, get these high book off here. He also studied and named the Gulf Stream, which is a natural waterway in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so we're going to stop there. That's his background. We'll be going over how he became a statesman and then in his later years. But I want to stop there because I don't want to have too much information come at us all at once. But I want to just mention that about clearly he was brilliant and had a brilliant, very creative mind. You have a very creative mind. So do you, Caleb. But his father recognized that he was very eager to learn, so he sent him to school. But what happened?
He lost his interest.
He lost his interest in not in learning, but he frustrated him so And it just puzzles me that we don't recognize that. That we send kids to school and at first they're like, woo! And then they get there and they're like, wait, you're going to abandon me here?
I thought we were going
And then they cry. And then they lose their interest. And then they just do their own thing. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we will, and I pray that y'all continue to have a love for learning.
I like reading.
I know.
I like math.
Yes, I know. And
Sorry.
you like imagining.
I imagine all the time.
I know. All right, let's stop our thing. We'll chat later. Bye.